Alright everyone, here we are with ticker symbol Sndl, Sundial Growers Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all the first time viewers and investors. Welcome to the channel. Invest for tomorrow. To all the subscribers, welcome back. And let's jump into this chart. So as we jump into Sndl, I just want to kind of take a moment to share with you guys something that I believe a lot of you guys are missing out on, because you're sometimes looking for an individual ticker symbol, and if I make a video on that individual ticker symbol, you come across it, either you're a first-time viewer, you come across the channel and you check it out, or you're a subscriber and all you care about is, I'm in Sndl, just hypothetically speaking, and you just want to watch the Sndl video. You want to see what's going on with Sndl. Well, I do many different ticker symbols, and apart from that, I do analysis on the S&P 500 index. If you haven't seen those videos, I think that that's one of the videos that I share really valuable information that every single investor can actually take advantage of and participate in, due to the fact that the Federal Reserve continues to pump the markets. Now, in that video, I don't tell you guys to buy, sell, or hold anything. I just kind of analyze the S&P 500 index, and we're going to look at it right now. Today was one of the first pumps leading into this scheduled time frame. So I do these weekly, and I put it at the end of every video that I do. I put it down below in the description once I make that video, so that you guys can check it out. And some people are overlooking it, or sometimes the notifications don't go out, and some of you are investors that view my videos consistently and you're missing out on this information. So let's look at the S&P 500 index, and we're going to jump into what's going on with Sndl. So here we are with the S&P 500 index. The S&P 500 index, previous pump, previous pump, previous pump, previous pump. So there's times that the pumps actually bring the S&P 500 index up, and then there's times that the pumps actually bring it back up and level it off. That's why that line is there. I was talking about the possibility of a leveling off, and it certainly did that. Other times it rises up, levels off, and then it slightly dips on the days before the next pump, and it rises back up. And we always see that. So we recently hit lows here of about 3633. It started to rise up, and then the end of the week was nice and bullish, and then the beginning of this week actually started to fall, and we saw lows here of about 3645. Well, this was today's pump effect, 3645, and it went all the way up to 3694. And here we are with today's pump results. That's almost 50 points. Now, why does this matter to us as investors? Well, if you're an investor and you're looking for a short-term play or a quick play, the S&P 500 index has been rising up on these dates. I mean, obviously, there's other dates that it rises up, and there's several ways to play this. I mean, sometimes you can, play it for a couple of weeks if you know that the scheduled pump dates are for a couple of weeks, but that depends on your risk tolerance and also if you want to leave your money in there for that long. But on these specific dates of the pumps, the S&P 500 index is rising anywhere from 20 to 30 points at the least, and at the most 50 to 80. And I've seen even 100 points in one day. And we have circles here from all the videos I've been doing, and we've been watching this. I started doing circles since July. I've been doing videos on this way back since May. I think it's being overlooked by a lot of investors, and I wanted to take a moment and share it. I think a lot of people don't even know about it, that I do these videos. And I go into more details about everything, but you could see here the 50-point jump. And, it doesn't guarantee you profits. I'm not here to tell you to buy, sell, or hold anything, but I needed to share this because I'm noticing that people are overlooking this. I've been doing it for months, and I sometimes get more views on a specific ticker symbol because that's what people or investors are narrowed in on, instead of opening and expanding into other areas. I think that this video should be one of my most viewed videos. I mean, it's literally telling you money. You know what I mean? So what does it mean for us as investors, real quick, that the S&P 500 index is rising? Well, if it's rising up these several points in this day, there's individual ticker symbols going up with it. Perfect example. I shouldn't be using an example because I don't like using an example, but something that I personally have used, let's put it that way, and I have personally experienced, but it doesn't happen every time. This is why I'm not here to tell you to buy, sell, or hold anything in particular. But let's go to Apple. Apple basically has risen up today, but this was also because of news and stuff, almost $6. So let's not use today. Let's use one of the most recent pumps. Let's see here, when was the most recent pump? The most recent pump was on the 8th. So from this low here, right, it was on the 8th, 123.12. It went up to about 124.95. So that was like $1 and some change. For Apple, that was a big risk in one day. You know what I mean? But it made you a whole $1 per share. So with Apple, you got to think about it, how you're going to play it. But if you think about just that one time, you might have missed out on the previous one, which actually went from, let's see here, 119 all the way up to 123. There was a little bit of a better play. That was like about $4 to $5 almost, you know, $4 to $5, yeah, $4 and some change in total, right, on the date of that pump. So there's different ways to play it out and see what works best for you. Today was a phenomenal day apart from the pump. Even Apple just running up, you know, it went up literally $6, but that doesn't happen every time. You know what I mean? And the S&P 500 index, you know, has 500 different ticker symbols. They're blue chip stocks. And I know this video is about Sndl, but I need to let every single investor be aware of this, that these stocks are going up with the S&P 500 index, and there's so many individual ticker symbols out there. I am not telling you guys to buy Apple. I am not, you know, telling you guys that Apple will guarantee you plus $4, $6 on the date of these pumps. I was just showing it as an example. And we also saw one of the previous pumps, right, before this one, where it actually went up about $1 and some change. Now, $1 and some change depends on your risk tolerance. It adds up. $4 and some change, depending on your risk tolerance, it adds up. But that doesn't mean that that's going to happen every time. And one way you trade doesn't mean that it's going to trade that way again. But the funny thing is, when you see the $4 jump or the $6 jump happen based off the dates of the pumps, you could see that this day was pretty low and there wasn't much movement, and Apple didn't move as much. Apple moved a lot here and it moved a lot here. And there's a lot of different ticker symbols. I just used Apple because it's one of the ones in the S&P 500 index, has the largest market cap, but it is over $100. There's so many other ones to choose from to see, and a lot of these stocks are going up 30 cents to $3 per share. And that's basically like, you know, putting your money in for a day and you're going to get a little bit back from it. It's not like it's going to make you rich, but it is a little bit of gains for that week. And it's something to consider and pay close attention to. But let's jump into Sndl. And I've talked a lot here about this whole thing, but I really need every single investor to be aware of this, because this is something that is an opportunity rather than a risk. It's an opportunity. Everything has risk in the market, but I look at it as an opportunity for as long as the Federal Reserve continues to pump the markets, because it's not that you're guaranteed profits and it's not that you're guaranteed a stock to go up a certain amount. But I've seen a lot of ticker symbols, not consistently, but overall, there's within the 500 ticker symbols, there's a few or most of them going up anywhere from 30 cents to $3 per share, and some even more, as we saw. But keep in mind, I just used Apple as reference. That doesn't mean that that's the one you should use and that's the one that only works. There's 500 ticker symbols. You have to do your due diligence. You have to do your research. You might find one that works better in your opinion than others. But Sndl has been in a bearish run. Things have been kind of sideways. I've talked about it in my previous videos on how this low here of 45 cents is super important, because it broke through that 46-cent range. We hit lows here of about 44 and some change. I rounded up to 45 cents. If that gets broken through, we could see newer lows and newer support levels. But as we see here, this has been in a sideways movement where Support was touched again today, and it bounced right back off of it. So that's a really good sign for the bulls to actually hold some momentum, and we need to watch this one closely. I mean, they've been in a sideways movement. There could be some slight type of breakout or rebound, or this could be on its way down to newer lows fairly fast, because when we're in a sideways movement, we need to watch closely how the stock is reacting and how quickly is it going down and up, because all it takes is for the bulls to actually come in strong and hefty and bring it up to newer highs, and all it takes is for the bears to actually hold it down and tear it down. So we need to watch the behavior of this stock and how quickly it's moving. But right now, it's hanging around the same area. If it breaks through 45 cents, we would start to see newer lows, and we need to watch it very carefully. Now, what is our 50-day moving average? Well, our 50-day moving average is 50.58. See if I can land on it exactly. Yeah, it's jumping around. 50.58. There we go. I landed on it. I expect every single investor to write this down. That was really hard to land on that, because those hundreds and thousands place. Oh, it moved from each position is hard to land on. But 50.58, super important point to keep in mind, due to the fact that that's our 50-day moving average. If we're below it, we're in bearish territory. If we're above it, we're in bullish territory. So we want to watch this carefully. The bears are slightly winning right now in leverage, but the bulls have reappeared and they're bringing this back up. But you can see there's been a tug of war here, and there's a lot of volatility going on. So our support here based off of today's chart is 48.50. I want every single investor to write that down, keep that number in mind, and pay close attention to how quickly is it moving towards this support or breaking through it. 48.50, super important. If that gets broken through, we could be on our way to newer lows and newer support levels. Now, we're currently at 49.92, and the bulls need to break through resistance. This resistance is 50.46. 50.46 needs to be broken through. Needs to be broken through. I want every single investor to be aware of this. 50.46 needs to be broken through, turn into a support, and the bulls need to break away from it so that it can reach newer highs and new resistance levels. If they break through this resistance, it does not signify that the bulls have gained control, but they're getting closer to it, and that's why they need to break through it. They're getting closer to gaining control because they're closer to the 50-day moving average. Once they cross the 50-day moving average, they need to pull away from it, reach newer highs and new resistance levels, and the first resistance level in bullish territory is up here at 52.79. If you want to write that down, you're more than welcome to, but first it needs to cross 50.46, turn it into support, break through the 50-day moving average, and start to work its way up to this direction of 52.79, reach newer highs and new resistance levels. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community, and don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watched this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.